Hello, you're watching Much Ado About Something today, and I'm Donna. Well, I'm going to come out here and do a little fall tour of the garden. It's chilly out here. I just got in all of my house plants that I still had outside over there in the area, my little potting area over there, and come out here and I just wanted to show you what's blooming in the garden at this time of the year. It's mid-October, the second week of October. It's beautiful, beautiful, cool, crisp, fall-like day. I finally did get a pot of mums to go on the porch here, and everything is looking like fall. There's still a lot of these flowers blooming that I have out here. I'm still enjoying those pretty things. And here is the geraniums. I'm going to try to overwinter those geraniums this year. The ageratum's in full bloom, and I think it is beautiful. And it's really pretty with these coreopsis, these beautiful plants right here. There's some things still blooming. That hummingbird vine is still blooming. Beautiful, beautiful end of the year garden. I'm still seeing the hummingbirds on this salvia. It still smells so good. There's a few knockout roses blooming here at the end. We haven't had our first frost yet, and I know when we have our first frost, we're going to have a lot of things just bit back and brown, and I'll have to get out here and trim. Now this is the red statice that I planted, that I got at the fruit stand last year. I planted it and it did not get anywhere as big as I thought it would. Evidently it's not going to be as vigorous as the blue statice right here. But that's okay, it's still beautiful. I think it'll still look pretty when it finally does grow up. I am enjoying what beauty is left before the frost does come. This is out here at the road, and this caught my eye as we were pulling into the driveway. I thought how pretty this this ageratum was. It's beautiful ageratum. It was really eye-catching from the road when we were pulling in. And then there are yellow roses. There's yellow roses planted out here in honor of Donald's grandfather. He loved yellow roses, and so we try to keep them in our garden. I've got them in two places. I've got them here near the road, and I've got them out in the back. Now here's a scrub pear tree that came off of my neighbor. My neighbor had two Bradford pears, one on each side of his driveway, and you can see that they've been cut down. And this is like a scrub pear that comes up from those. So Donald's got to get out here and cut that thing down. It's not needed there where it's at, so he's going to come and cut that down when he gets a chance. And this is just here at the corner of the driveway, and it's this little bed that's kind of naturalized right here. It does need some trimming up. We try to keep the ivy off of the trees. These are Leland cypress. They used to be small here, and they would provide privacy right here just around the house, but they have really grown up, and they're beautiful. And Donald had to take some of the limbs off of them so that we could see up the road. And you can see right there that where he's trimmed a few leaves off and in times past to try to keep the driveway clear. I noticed there are some dead limbs right there that will have to be taken out, and that's all fall gardening work. And this is a little tree that I used to have up beside of the house, and it's getting too big for its pot, but I did want to put that in the ground. And so me and Donald will probably find a place to put that in our garden, this little tree here. soon. Now over in the perennial beds, the perennial herb garden, which is just a little strip that I've got right here beside of the house. It used to be our vegetable garden, and we rotated between the back and the front, but I decided to turn this into my perennial herb garden, since a lot of my vegetables would go missing right here. We're not far from the street, as you can see right there, and for some reason these vegetables, somebody would come up and pick them, which I don't mind sharing, but you know, that's a lot of work, and I did not do all that work just for somebody to come and help themselves to the vegetables. So I made it a perennial herb garden. Now there are some dried marigolds, and there's plenty of dried marigold seeds. And of course I have already harvested quite a few of these, but I may come out here and just pick these, save these seeds for my friends. I may come and save these seeds. There is still a lot of work out here that needs to be done out here, a lot of weeds that need to be pulled. That's an ongoing task, and I'll share with you how much I actually have worked out there in the middle garden, and how much I've got cut down in my time frame that I've had to work. This is a lot of leaves. They're falling off this tree this year, and I've got the compost right here that goes on the front of the house. I use on the front of the house. Now this is something that I'm very happy with. Donald did get the goldenrod. We harvested some goldenrod that I didn't make tea out of, and he put the roots down here and planted them. So this is a goldenrod area, and I'm so excited to have that. But I probably will be able to grow enough goldenrod for us, for the two of us, for the year, from these little goldenrod plants that he dug up. Of course, they spread by the roots, and so there's plenty of roots up under here, and I will be needing to, you know, just put some mulch over these, help these along a little bit. But they grow on the side of the road without any help, so I'm sure they will continue to grow right here without any help. So I was tickled that he did that. When we were harvesting this from the side of the road, and we got that wonderful goldenrod, it smelled so good. It's such a wonderful smell. I thoroughly enjoyed that. And of course, that beautiful pineapple sage. Planted it last year, and it has done well. It is beautiful. I am enjoying that. So pretty this time of the year. You can see the leaves on the bottom of that is starting to turn yellow, and that is definitely the end of the season. Things are winding down. I did harvest comfrey this year, so it looks like I could probably harvest it one more time before the end of the year. And coming around back to the front gardens, look what we have. The angel trumpets are blooming. They're blooming a little bit early this year, and I'm glad, because it's probably going to frost. And these do not look the same once the frost hits them. It damages them, they turn brown, and they're not as beautiful as they are now. It's a beautiful, beautiful flower. Big, beautiful flower. Love to see those beautiful things blooming. I am going to take cuttings from the stalk this year, and I'll bring you along with me as I go ahead and plan to start some new angel trumpet starts around the garden this year. This is up against the house, and they are beautiful. They are just hanging full, and I am hoping that we get to see the full benefit of the blooms this year, and that it doesn't frost on them before we get to see all these beautiful blooms. These are the unopened blooms that are coming, and then there's a few up there that have bloomed. And there is Ollie to say hello to us. Hey, Ollie. Hey, good boy. Gotta give him a pet out here. He doesn't know who I'm talking to. He thinks I'm talking to him. He's in the backyard, taking care of business back there. Defending the backyard. And he will probably be whining as long as he can see or hear me. He will be whining because he'll want me to come and pet him. But I didn't want to miss. I know I've been sharing with you that these angel trumpets would be blooming soon, and I did not want to miss the opportunity to share their beautiful blooms with you. And it's certainly turned a lot colder, and I thought I better go do this in case we get a frost and it turns these angel trumpets brown. And then a few on this side of the walk. Here's the sidewalk right here. And here are the angel trumpets. And they're blooming mainly at the top, kind of like an umbrella. And then there are the angel trumpets beside of the house. So there's what is going on, isn't it? They're beautiful. They're just beautiful. Worth coming out here and enjoying those big, beautiful blooms. And it's time to garden and strategically start deciding where I'm going to put what. And then coming up the sidewalk, of course, I've got the more ageratum blooming. I had one little bunch of ageratum one year. I added it to the garden. And ever since that addition to my garden, I have had blue ageratum in the garden year after year after year. It's reseeded itself. And it's beautiful, and it's been there for me to enjoy. And of course, here are the dried echinacea. And they're here holding up some hummingbird vine and providing seeds for the birds. I did harvest some echinacea seeds, but for the most part, these are for the birds. And Lord, they do enjoy them. The small little tiny birds love the thistle-like seeds that are on these echinacea. That's why this is still here, even though it's turned brown. That's the reason it's in the end of the garden, is for the birds to enjoy. And believe it or not, we have still had hummingbirds. They haven't completely gone south for the winter yet. They're still out here. I can still look out the window and see the little hummingbirds just enjoying what is left out here in the garden. So I'm going to leave what I can for a while here and continue to let them enjoy it, even though it doesn't look perfectly manicured. Even though this is the end of summer garden, fall garden, it's well 2 weeks into fall now, so it's a fall garden, and it's looking a little sad. It's looking a little worse for wear. You can see the bees are still enjoying it. There's a bee. And the hummingbirds are still enjoying it. I try to capture the hummingbirds, but I don't have a kind of camera that can capture that. Those hummingbirds are beautiful, and there's still food out here for them. Plenty of food for them to enjoy. So I'm leaving it here in this shape for the hummingbirds. And of course, this wildflower here is continuing to grow. I thought it was so pretty. The blue ageratum and this yellow flower was so pretty together this year. I just love that combination. The rose bush needs to be tied back up to its trellis some right here. And of course, the front yard gardens need plenty of care. My lamb's ear right here is kind of covered up by this. But here's the work that I've done out here in the middle gardens. I've got plenty cut down. In fact, I had a whole load of passion fruit vine for the CD pickup to go into their mulch pile. I had a whole load out here. This was a lot of... the apple David likes to put it out here. He likes to put the cores out here for the squirrel. He enjoys seeing the squirrel come to the garden and get his apple cores. So that's what that is. It's an apple core there. But there, got this stuff cleared out, and you can see that I've got the coneflower here and different, the rosemary. The rosemary was just thriving up under that passion flower. There are other flowers here. Of course, I'll have to trim those back. And I got the lacy elderberry free from all of the vines that was around it. And of course, I'm not going to let those vines take over as much this year. I'm going to keep that lacy elderberry free of anything crowding it, because I still want this thing to grow. I can't wait to see the spring leaves on this lacy elderberry. They're bright green and they're just beautiful. The camellia bush has still got blooms on it. You know, it will bloom. It loves cold weather. So it's doing fine out here. You know, it sometimes blooms even when it's some frost and stuff going on. So cold weather really doesn't hurt this. If you saw some of my past videos with this bush, you saw that it had blooms on it with icicles on it. So that's fine. To just leave it like it is and see it bloom again. Lots of blooms on it. Still got some passion flower. Donald and I have been throwing back ideas on how we can kind of contain our passion fruit vine this coming year. We're just going to be able to taller trellis behind this bedpost trellis that we normally use. We're going to take cattle panels and try to make a taller trellis. It won't stand out. You won't necessarily notice it in the garden, the trellis, but once those passion flower vines grow up it, then it should provide what we need. This little bed post that we had here, you know, I just took it from an old bed that we had and recycled it into a trellis, and for years it was perfectly okay. And then it looks really good when I get this thing completely took down. I only have limited time to work on the garden at a time, and I did not get it all done before my grandchildren got here and I had the grandparents. I have, you know, things I have to go and do. I can only do so much in one day. But this is my garden sign, and this little trellis is just really cute here. It's cute in this center flower bed, but it is not big enough for the passion fruit vine. That beautiful flower and then that fruit that comes with that. You know, I love to have it in my garden, but I have to contain it. Now this is something that's really pretty. This is the lamb's ear, and I'm thinking this lamb's ear is probably big enough to divide this year. It was quite a spread out here. So I can see there's different sections of it. I may try to divide that if I can, because I love to see that beautiful plant. And my friend that came and visited me to harvest her a few passion flowers, she really thought that was beautiful. She said she was going to add some to her garden because of this one. So I may see if I can divide that and kind of spread it out a little bit. I think it's beautiful too. And there are other flowers in here that are blooming. It was hard to see these this year because of that passion flower vine being everywhere. So I've got to contain it a little bit. And Donald is going to help me plant this sedum. I have these two pots of sedum, and they need to go into the ground. They were beautiful at the beginning of fall. They had a beautiful rusty colored bloom on them that was just beautiful for fall. So I like that, and we'll be glad to add more of that to the garden. But I got a lot of it cleaned up, and I have to say that I am very pleased with the way the garden looks at this time of the year, even though it's a little bit neglected. Even though I haven't got out here and weeded it like I should, I still love the beauty in it. You know, I have wildflowers, and I love the growth of wildflowers, and it's perfect for a cottage garden. The wildflowers are just right at home in a cottage garden. Now this is lemon balm. I've harvested and dried out some lemon balm. I have it up here on the porch, and I'll be sitting out here cutting it up. Me and Donald are going to sit outside for a little while and enjoy the weather. And I'm going to go ahead and take my lemon balm. I just put it in trays like this. I'm going to go ahead and take the lemon balm and start cutting it up and getting it ready to make tea. So that'll be a lot of cozy, delicious, healthy teas coming out this winter. I'll be using this lemon balm, and it smells so good even after it's dry. Well, I sure do thank you for joining me today, joining me out here in my garden. Let me show you what it looks like right here in the middle of fall. My little flower garden that's out front. There's still a lot to be done. There always is. It's an ongoing task. But it's gave out beauty and fruit and herbs and many things to me here this summer. And it's getting ready to end its season. It's getting ready to be a lot of things be cut down, and some maybe compost added, and maybe even a layer of mulch here or there on something that needs to be mulched, and ready just to be put to rest for the winter months, because it's starting to get cold, and around here it will probably get cold all at once. I did get the house plants in, so I'm not worried about the things that I wanted to keep freezing. And I did get some weeds and stuff cut down, and enjoy the beauty of the garden. I thank you for joining me today, and like always, until next time.